Have you ever noticed how society treats single people like they're waiting for their real life to begin? As if living alone means living incomplete? What if I told you that solo living isn't just about independence, but about accessing the deepest parts of your psyche that partnership can sometimes obscure? Today we're diving into something revolutionary: how to transform solitary living from mere survival into profound psychological development using Carl Jung's most powerful tools. I'm about to share a complete toolkit that will change how you experience your alone time forever. We'll explore why your dreams become more vivid when you live solo, how to create rituals that connect you with your authentic self, and I'll give you a 10-minute practice you can do tonight that will immediately shift your relationship with solitude. But first, let me tell you why Jung believed that periods of aloneness were absolutely essential for psychological growth. Carl Jung spent years studying what he called individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are beneath all the social masks and expectations. He discovered something fascinating. This process often requires periods of solitude, where you can hear your inner voice without the constant noise of other people's needs, opinions. When you live alone, you're not just choosing a lifestyle, you're creating the perfect laboratory for self-discovery. Think about it. When you're constantly around others, you're always performing to some degree. You're the good friend, the reliable colleague, the loving partner. These roles aren't fake, but they can mask deeper aspects of your personality that only emerge in solitude. Jung called these hidden aspects the shadow, and learning to integrate them is crucial for psychological wholeness. Living solo gives you unprecedented access to your unconscious mind. Your dreams become more prominent because there's no one else's energy disrupting your sleep space. Your emotions flow more freely because you don't need to manage someone else's reactions. Your creativity explodes because there's no one judging your weird ideas or strange habits. This isn't selfishness. This is psychological archaeology. But here's where most people go wrong. They treat solo living passively, just going through the motions of daily life without intentionally engaging with this incredible opportunity for growth. They watch Netflix until they fall asleep instead of exploring their dream world. They scroll social media instead of sitting with their thoughts. They fill every moment with distraction instead of embracing the fertile silence that solitude provides. Jung understood that psychological development requires active participation. You can't just wait for insights to happen. You need rituals, practices, and frameworks that help you dive deeper into your psyche. That's exactly what we're going to build together today. Let's start with dreamwork, one of Jung's most powerful tools for accessing the unconscious. When you live alone, your dream life becomes incredibly rich because your psyche doesn't need to process the emotional residue of constant social interaction. Your dreams become clearer messages from your unconscious about what you need for growth. Here's your dreamwork protocol. Keep a journal by your bed and write down everything you remember immediately upon waking, even fragments that seem nonsensical. Don't interpret yet, just capture. Look for recurring symbols, emotions, or scenarios over weeks and months. Notice which dreams feel most emotionally charged. These often contain your most important messages. Jung believed dreams compensate for conscious attitudes. If you're being too rigid in your waking life, your dreams might be chaotic and wild. If you're being too passive, your dreams might feature you taking bold action. Pay attention to these compensatory patterns because they reveal what your psyche needs for balance. Now, let's talk about creating a nightly ritual that transforms your evening routine into a gateway for psychological exploration. This isn't about productivity or optimization. This is about creating sacred time for inner work. Your 30-minute ritual becomes a bridge between your external day and your internal night. Start with 5 minutes of conscious breathing to transition from doing mode to being mode. Follow this with 10 minutes of journaling about your emotional landscape from the day. What triggered you? What delighted you? What felt authentic versus performative? This isn't therapy. This is data collection about your inner world. Next, spend 10 minutes on what Jung called active imagination. Sit quietly and allow images, memories, or fantasy scenarios to arise without forcing them. Don't judge or analyze. Just observe what your unconscious wants to show you. Sometimes this reveals creative projects, sometimes emotional blocks, sometimes completely unexpected insights about your life direction. End with 5 minutes of setting intentions not for tomorrow's tasks, but for how you want to engage with your inner world. Maybe you want to pay attention to synchronicities. Maybe you want to be more curious about your emotional reactions. Maybe you want to notice what energizes versus drains you. This creates conscious collaboration between your ego and your unconscious. But psychological development isn't just about inner exploration. It's also about healthy boundaries with the external world. Living solo means you need to become exceptionally skilled at protecting your energy and time from people who don't understand your choices. Your boundary checklist starts with energy audits. After social interactions, notice your energy levels. Certain people and activities will leave you feeling expanded and energized. Others will leave you feeling drained and diminished. Jung called this phenomenon psychological infection, when you unconsciously absorb other people's emotional states and projections. Create clear protocols for managing social pressure about your lifestyle. Practice responses to comments about being single, living alone, or spending time on inner work. You don't need to justify your choices, but having prepared responses prevents you from getting triggered and reactive in the moment. Establish digital boundaries that protect your psychological space. Living solo means your phone becomes a major gateway for other people's energy to invade your sanctuary. Create technology-free zones and times that preserve your connection to your inner world. Now we need to address the shadow, those aspects of yourself that you've learned to hide or reject. Jung believed that integrating the shadow was essential for psychological wholeness, and solo living provides the perfect environment for this challenging work. Shadow integration starts with noticing your judgments about others. Whatever you criticize most harshly in other people often reflects rejected aspects of yourself. If you're constantly annoyed by needy people, explore your own neediness. If you judge people as selfish, examine your relationship with your own desires and boundaries. Practice owning your difficult emotions without immediately trying to fix or change them. Anger, jealousy, sadness, fear. These aren't problems to solve, but information about your deeper needs and values. When you live alone, you can feel these emotions fully, without worrying about how they affect others. Experiment with expressing rejected aspects of your personality in safe ways. If you've always been the responsible one, try being spontaneous and impulsive. If you've always been nice, practice being direct and assertive. This isn't about becoming someone else, it's about reclaiming disowned parts of yourself. Your psychological toolkit also needs intellectual nourishment. Start with Jung's Man and His Symbols for an accessible introduction to his core concepts. This book explains how symbols and archetypes operate in your unconscious mind and daily life. For contemporary applications, explore Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, which brilliantly translates Jungian concepts through storytelling and myth. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown offers practical tools for integrating shadow aspects through vulnerability and authenticity. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert explores the creative process through a lens that aligns beautifully with Jungian ideas about connecting with unconscious wisdom. Let me give you something you can do right now to immediately shift your relationship with solitude. This is a 10-minute ritual for honoring your autonomy and connecting with your authentic self. Find a comfortable seated position and close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, letting each exhale release any tension or judgment about your solo lifestyle. Now place one hand on your heart and one on your stomach. Feel your body's rhythm, your unique aliveness that exists completely independent of anyone else. Begin to silently repeat these affirmations, feeling their truth in your body. I honor my choice to live authentically. I trust my inner wisdom. I am whole and complete exactly as I am. My solitude is sacred space for growth and discovery. Now imagine yourself surrounded by a golden boundary of light. This boundary protects your energy while remaining permeable to love and genuine connection. Feel how solid and strong this boundary is, how it allows you to be fully yourself without defense or performance. Take a moment to appreciate 3 things about your solo life that bring you joy or peace. Maybe it's the freedom to follow your own schedule, the ability to decorate exactly how you want, or the space to pursue interests without explanation or compromise. Finally, set an intention for how you want to engage with your inner world over the coming days. Maybe you want to pay attention to your dreams. Maybe you want to notice what triggers strong emotions. Maybe you want to experiment with creative expression. Choose something that feels both exciting and slightly challenging. Take 3 more deep breaths and open your eyes. Notice how you feel different than when we started. This is the power of intentional solitude, of treating your alone time as sacred space for psychological development rather than something to endure or escape. Your solo life isn't a waiting room for your real life to begin. It's a master class in becoming who you truly are, beneath all the social conditioning and external expectations. Use these tools consistently and watch how your relationship with yourself and others transforms completely. The person you discover in solitude becomes the foundation for all your future connections and creations. Did you know that the word spinster originally meant a woman skilled enough at spinning thread to earn her own living? Yet somehow, over centuries, this term for an independent, economically self-sufficient woman transformed into one of society's most dreaded labels. Today we're diving deep into the shadowy realm of the collective unconscious to uncover how ancient archetypes of solitary women have been twisted, suppressed, and weaponized against female independence across cultures worldwide. I'm about to reveal something that might completely change how you view single women in your own life, including perhaps yourself. We'll journey from the sacred groves where wise women once dispensed healing and prophecy, to the burning stakes of witch trials, all the way to modern boardrooms where successful single women still face whispers and assumptions. By the end of this exploration, you'll understand exactly how Jung's revolutionary concept of the collective unconscious explains why these stories have such incredible power over us, even today. But first, let me ask you something. When you hear the word spinster, what image immediately pops into your mind? Is it a bitter, lonely woman surrounded by cats? A disappointed soul who couldn't find a man? Or maybe someone to be pitied? Hold on to that image, because we're about to trace exactly where it came from and why it has such a grip on our collective imagination. The story begins in humanity's earliest chapters, where solitary women held positions of profound respect and even reverence. In ancient cultures worldwide, the archetype of the wise woman stood as a pillar of community knowledge. These women, often unmarried or widowed, served as healers, midwives, oracles, and keepers of ancestral wisdom. They lived on the margins not as outcasts, but as bridges between the known and unknown worlds. Carl Jung would have recognized these figures immediately as manifestations of what he called the collective unconscious. This isn't just individual psychology we're talking about here. Jung proposed that beneath our personal unconscious lies a deeper layer shared by all humanity, populated by universal symbols and patterns he called archetypes. The wise woman archetype represents one of these fundamental patterns, embodying the feminine principle of wisdom, intuition, and transformative power. In ancient Greece, the Pythia at Delphi, Apollo's oracle, was traditionally an unmarried woman who channeled divine wisdom for seekers from across the Mediterranean. Her solitary state wasn't seen as a deficiency but as a prerequisite for her sacred role. Similarly, in Celtic traditions, the sovereignty goddess often appeared as a solitary crone who tested heroes and bestowed or withheld the right to rule. These weren't stories about lonely old maids. They were tales about women whose power came precisely from their independence, from conventional domestic roles. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. As patriarchal religious and social systems consolidated power, these revered figures became increasingly problematic. A woman who didn't need a man for economic survival, who possessed knowledge outside male-controlled institutions, who gathered other women around her for healing and wisdom sharing, represented a threat to emerging power structures. The transformation didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process that Jung might have explained through what he called the shadow archetype. The shadow represents the repressed, denied, or undeveloped aspects of the psyche. As societies increasingly valued female submission and dependence, the powerful wise woman archetype was pushed into the collective shadow. What emerged in its place was a distorted, fearsome version, the witch. The European witch trials of the 15th through 17th centuries represent perhaps the most systematic attempt to eliminate the wise woman archetype from collective consciousness. Historians estimate that between 40 to 60,000 people, mostly women, were executed as witches during this period. A disproportionate number were single, elderly women who practiced traditional healing, lived alone, or were otherwise economically independent. The cultural stories that justified these killings reveal the shadow projection at work. Wise women who had once been sought out for their healing knowledge were now portrayed as malevolent beings who consorted with devils and caused harm through supernatural means. Their herbs became poisons. Their intuitive knowledge became demonic communication, and their independence became evidence of their unnatural, evil nature. This transformation wasn't limited to Europe. Let's examine how similar patterns played out across different cultures, because the collective unconscious, according to Jung, transcends cultural boundaries while manifesting through culture-specific symbols. In traditional Chinese culture, we see this tension embodied in contrasting archetypes. The respected unmarried woman might become a renowned scholar or artist, like the Tang dynasty poet Yu Xuanji, whose solitary life was initially celebrated as enabling her literary genius. However, Chinese folklore also developed the archetype of the vengeful ghost bride, women who died unmarried and returned as malevolent spirits to torment the living. These ghost stories served as cautionary tales, suggesting that unmarried women posed supernatural dangers to social harmony. The Japanese cultural imagination created similar tensions through figures like the Yama-uba, mountain witches who were simultaneously feared and revered. These solitary women possessed great wisdom and magical power, but were depicted as living on the dangerous margins of civilization. Japanese folklore presents them as both helpers and threats, reflecting the deep ambivalence surrounding female independence and power. Perhaps most tellingly, in many African traditions, we find examples of how colonialism and missionary influence deliberately targeted and suppressed indigenous wise woman traditions. Among the Yoruba people, the Iyalawo or female priests held significant spiritual authority. However, under colonial pressure and Christian missionary influence, these roles were systematically undermined and sometimes criminalized, replaced with narratives about dangerous witchcraft that needed to be eliminated. What's fascinating is how these cultural transformations follow remarkably similar patterns, despite occurring in geographically and temporally separated contexts. Jung would argue this consistency points to archetypal forces operating through the collective unconscious. The wise woman archetype exists as a fundamental human pattern, but when it conflicts with dominant social structures, it gets pushed into the shadow and emerges in distorted, fearsome forms. Now let's fast forward to more recent history and the emergence of the spinster archetype. The Industrial Revolution created new economic opportunities for women, and for the first time in centuries, significant numbers of women could support themselves without marriage. The response was swift and telling. Victorian society created an elaborate mythology around these independent women, portraying them as failed beings who had missed their natural destiny. The spinster stereotype that developed during this period combined elements of the suppressed wise woman archetype with heavy doses of shame and pity. These women were portrayed as dried-up, bitter, sexually frustrated beings whose unmarried state represented a kind of spiritual and biological failure. Popular literature of the time, from Charles Dickens to Jane Austen, often featured spinster characters who served as cautionary tales or objects of either pity or mild ridicule. What's crucial to understand is how these stories function psychologically. Jung argued that archetypal stories shape not just how we view others, but how we view ourselves. When a culture repeatedly tells stories about solitary women as failed, dangerous, or pitiable beings, it creates what psychologists now call internalized oppression. Women begin to fear and reject these aspects within themselves. The collective unconscious doesn't just store these archetypal patterns, it actively influences behavior and expectations in the present moment. When a successful single woman in her 30s starts feeling anxious about her unmarried status, she's not just responding to immediate social pressure, she's encountering the accumulated weight of centuries of cultural stories about women like her. This brings us to contemporary times, where, despite massive social changes, these archetypal patterns continue to exert surprising influence. Modern single women report feeling the pressure of questions like, "Why aren't you married yet?" or dealing with assumptions about their emotional state, sexual satisfaction, or basic competence. The spinster archetype hasn't disappeared. It's simply evolved and adapted to current contexts. Social media has created new platforms for these ancient patterns to manifest. The successful single woman posting about her career achievements often faces comments questioning her priorities or suggesting she's overcompensating for loneliness. The older unmarried woman sharing her travels or hobbies encounters assumptions about her desperation or delusions about her desirability. Yeah, something remarkable is also happening. Women are beginning to reclaim and transform these archetypal stories. The rise of movements celebrating female independence, the growing acceptance of chosen singlehood, and the emergence of new cultural narratives about women's autonomy all point to what Jung might have called an archetypal renewal. We're seeing glimmers of the wise woman archetype re-emerging in more positive forms. The successful female entrepreneur, the traveled single woman sharing her adventures, the unmarried professional mentoring younger colleagues, all represent modern manifestations of the ancient wise woman pattern, freed from the distortions of centuries of suppression. Understanding these patterns through Jung's lens offers something powerful, the possibility of conscious choice. When we recognize that our reactions to single women, including our own singlehood, are influenced by collective unconscious patterns rather than just personal preferences or rational assessments, we gain the power to examine and potentially change those responses. The key insight here is that these aren't just abstract psychological concepts. They're living forces that shape real experiences, career opportunities, family relationships, and personal self-worth. By bringing these unconscious patterns into conscious awareness, we create the possibility of relating to them differently. So here's what I want you to consider as we close this exploration. The next time you encounter a story or assumption about single women, ask yourself whether you're witnessing the wise woman archetype in her authentic form, or whether you're seeing one of her shadow distortions. Are you seeing the independent, wise, economically self-sufficient woman who chooses her own path? Or are you seeing the bitter spinster, the dangerous witch, or the failed woman who couldn't find a man? This awareness doesn't just change how you view others. It changes how you view yourself. Whether you're single or partnered, recognizing these archetypal patterns helps you separate your authentic choices and preferences from the inherited stories that may be unconsciously influencing your decisions. The wise woman archetype is rising again in our collective consciousness. The question is whether we'll recognize her when she appears, or whether we'll mistake her for one of her shadow disguises. The choice, as Jung would remind us, lies in bringing the unconscious into consciousness, transforming inherited patterns through awareness and intention, action. Have you ever felt like you're playing multiple characters in your own life, especially when you're alone? Like one moment you're the free-spirited dreamer, the next you're the nurturing caretaker, and sometimes you transform into the wise sage who sees through everything? If this resonates, you're about to discover something profound about the hidden forces shaping your daily existence. Today, we're diving into the ancient feminine archetypes that live within every woman and how they show up in fascinating ways when you're living alone. Whether you're single by choice, going through a transition, or simply spending more time with yourself, understanding these archetypal energies can revolutionize how you see your own behavior and unlock new levels of self-awareness. Let's start with the maiden archetype, because she's probably the most misunderstood of all three. When most people think of the maiden, they picture youth and innocence, but that's just scratching the surface. The maiden represents pure potential, curiosity, and the courage to begin new adventures. She's the part of you that says yes to spontaneous weekend trips, signs up for pottery classes, or decides to completely rearrange your living room at midnight because you suddenly had a vision. In your solo living space, the maiden shows up in beautiful ways. She's the one leaving art supplies scattered across your kitchen table, trying new recipes without following measurements, or dancing in your underwear to music that makes your neighbors wonder what's happening upstairs. She creates that sense of possibility that makes your home feel alive rather than just functional. But here's where it gets interesting. The maiden can also create chaos. She starts 10 different projects and finishes none. She impulse buys plants she doesn't know how to care for. She makes plans with the enthusiasm of someone who forgot that future you still needs to pay bills and do laundry. When the maiden energy runs unchecked, your space can feel more like a playground than a sanctuary. Now, let's talk about the mother archetype. And no, you don't need children to embody this energy. The mother is the nurturer, the one who creates safety and tends to growth. In your solo living situation, she's the part of you that meal preps on Sundays, keeps houseplants alive, and creates cozy spaces that feel like warm hugs. The mother in you probably has the most organized closet, remembers to water the plants, and keeps healthy snacks stocked. She's the one who invites friends over, and somehow always has exactly what they need, whether it's tea for a sore throat or a shoulder to cry on. She transforms your space into a healing environment where people feel welcomed and cared for. But the mother archetype has her shadows too. She can become overly responsible, taking care of everyone else's needs while neglecting her own. In a solo living situation, she might manifest as the part of you that feels guilty for relaxing, constantly cleaning and organizing instead of actually enjoying your space. She can turn self-care into another form of work, making your home feel more like a service station than a place of rest. The contradiction gets even more intense when the mother tries to mother herself. She might create elaborate self-care routines that become rigid and joyless, or spend so much energy maintaining the perfect living environment that she forgets to actually live in it. Enter the crone, the archetype that makes people most uncomfortable because we live in a culture that fears aging and wisdom. The crone isn't just about chronological age. She's about the wisdom that comes from experience, the ability to see through illusions, and the power that comes from no longer needing external validation. In your solo space, the crone is the part of you that knows exactly what you like and refuses to compromise. She's curated a living environment that reflects your authentic self, rather than what you think others want to see. She doesn't buy throw pillows because they're trendy. She chooses objects that have meaning and story. The crone energy helps you set boundaries. She's the one who says no to social obligations that drain you, who creates sacred spaces in your home for reflection and wisdom gathering. She might have a reading corner that's perfectly arranged, a meditation space that feels sacred, or a journal practice that helps her process life's complexities. But the crone can also become isolated and cynical. She might use her wisdom as a weapon, becoming critical of others' choices or dismissive of new experiences. In extreme cases, she can make your living space feel more like a fortress than a home, keeping out not just unwanted intrusions, but also joy and spontaneity. Here's what's fascinating about living alone with these archetypes. They don't take turns politely. They interact, conflict, and sometimes create beautiful harmony. Your maiden might impulse buy art supplies while your mother organizes them into a perfect creative station, and your crone decides which projects are actually worth your time and energy. Sometimes the tensions create real internal conflict. Your maiden wants to stay up late writing poetry. Your mother insists you need proper sleep for tomorrow's responsibilities, and your crone questions why you're writing poetry at all, when you could be reading something more substantial. These aren't character flaws. They're the natural result of being a complex, multifaceted human being. The beauty of understanding these archetypes is that you can start to see these different aspects of yourself with compassion rather than judgment. Instead of feeling scattered or contradictory, you can recognize that you're actually incredibly rich and dynamic. Living alone gives you the unique opportunity to explore all these aspects without external pressure to be consistent or easily categorized. Your space becomes a laboratory for archetypal expression, where you can honor different needs and energies as they arise. Now, for that exercise I promised. Take a moment right now to consider which two archetypes feel strongest in your current living situation. Are you primarily operating from maiden energy, always starting new projects and seeking adventure? Maybe you're deeply in mother mode, creating nurturing spaces and caring for others? Or perhaps your crone wisdom is most active, helping you see clearly and choose consciously? Here's what I want you to do. Identify those two strongest archetypes, then spend some time journaling about why they're dominant right now. What life circumstances are calling them forward? How do they show up in your daily routines, your living space, your choices? What gifts are they bringing you, and what challenges are they creating? Don't judge what you discover. Simply observe with curiosity. Understanding your archetypal patterns is the first step toward conscious integration, where you can call upon different energies as needed, rather than being unconsciously driven by them. Remember, you contain all of these archetypes. The goal isn't to pick one and stick with it, but to develop a conscious relationship with these different aspects of your feminine nature. When you can do that, your solo living experience transforms from potentially lonely to profoundly rich and self-discovering. Your home becomes not just where you live, but where you meet yourself in all your beautiful complexity. Have you ever noticed that the most profound conversations you have are often the ones you have with yourself when nobody else is around? There's something almost magical that happens when we strip away all the noise, all the distractions, all the expectations that other people place on us, and we're left alone with our own thoughts. But here's what most people don't realize. That discomfort you feel when you're truly alone isn't something to run from. It's actually your psyche, trying to tell you something incredibly important about who you really are beneath all the masks you wear for the world. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most transformative concepts in psychology. The idea that solitude isn't just downtime or loneliness, but actually a sacred pathway to becoming who you're truly meant to be. Carl Jung called this process individuation, and it's essentially the journey of integrating all the scattered pieces of yourself into a unified, authentic whole. By the end of this video, You'll understand exactly how to use solitude as your personal laboratory for self-discovery, and I'll give you specific daily practices that can accelerate this journey in ways that will surprise you. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you spent an entire day completely alone without any external input? No phone, no music, no books, no podcasts, just you and your own mind. If you're like most people, that thought probably makes you a little uncomfortable. We live in a culture that's terrified of silence, terrified of being alone with our thoughts. We fill every moment with stimulation because somewhere deep down, we're afraid of what we might discover if we actually listen to ourselves. The irony is that this fear is precisely what's keeping us from accessing our greatest source of wisdom and creativity. Think about it. Every major breakthrough, every moment of clarity, every creative insight you've ever had probably came during a moment of solitude. Whether you were in the shower, taking a walk, or lying in bed before sleep, these moments of inner connection are when your true self emerges from beneath all the layers of conditioning and social programming. Jung understood this better than almost anyone. He spent years studying what happens when people turn inward, when they stop looking to the external world for validation and start excavating their own psychological landscape. What he discovered was that solitude isn't empty space. It's incredibly fertile ground where all the seeds of your potential are waiting to sprout. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine your psyche as an iceberg. The part above water is your conscious mind, your everyday thoughts, your social personality, the version of yourself that interacts with the world. But beneath the surface lies this vast, mysterious territory that Jung called the unconscious. This isn't just random mental clutter. It's a treasure trove of wisdom, creativity, and authentic selfhood that most people never access because they're too busy staying on the surface. Individuation is the process of diving beneath that surface and bringing those hidden treasures into conscious awareness. It's about integrating the parts of yourself that you've rejected, ignored, or never even knew existed. And here's the key. This work can only happen in solitude. You can't discover who you really are while you're constantly performing for others or absorbing their expectations and judgments. Now, I want to be clear about something important. When I talk about solitude, I'm not talking about isolation or loneliness. Isolation is about cutting yourself off from connection out of fear or pain. Loneliness is the ache you feel when you want connection but don't have it. Solitude is completely different. Solitude is the conscious choice to spend time alone because you recognize it as valuable, necessary work. It's about befriending yourself so deeply that your own company becomes a source of joy rather than discomfort. The individuation process typically unfolds in several distinct stages, and understanding these stages can help you navigate your own journey with more awareness and intention. The first stage is what Jung called the encounter with the persona. The persona is essentially the mask you wear in social situations, your professional identity, your role as a parent or partner, the version of yourself that you present to get along in the world. There's nothing wrong with having a persona. We all need these social masks to function effectively. The problem arises when we become so identified with our persona that we forget it's just a mask. We start believing that this social role is who we really are, and we lose touch with the authentic self beneath it. The first stage of individuation involves recognizing your persona for what it is. A useful tool, but not your true identity. This recognition often comes with a certain amount of disillusionment. You might start questioning the career you've built, the relationships you've maintained, or the goals you've been pursuing. This isn't a crisis. It's actually a healthy awakening. You're beginning to distinguish between who you think you should be and who you actually are. The second stage involves encountering what Jung called the shadow. The shadow represents all the aspects of yourself that you've rejected, repressed, or denied. These aren't necessarily negative qualities, though they often feel that way at first. They're simply parts of your personality that didn't fit with your conscious self-image or that were discouraged by your family or culture as you were growing up. For example, if you were raised to always be polite and agreeable, your shadow might contain your capacity for anger or assertiveness. If you were taught that emotions are weakness, your shadow might hold your sensitivity and vulnerability. If you learn that success means being competitive and driven, your shadow might contain your desire for rest and contemplation. Meeting your shadow can be uncomfortable because it challenges your self-concept. But here's what's fascinating. Integrating your shadow doesn't make you a worse person. It actually makes you more complete, more authentic, and, paradoxically, more capable of genuine goodness. When you own all parts of yourself, you're no longer at the mercy of unconscious impulses, and you can choose how to express different aspects of your personality in healthy ways. The third stage involves connecting with what Jung called the anima or animus, the contrasexual aspect of your psyche. This isn't about gender in the literal sense, but about the complementary qualities that balance your conscious personality. If you're someone who leads primarily with logic and analysis, your anima or animus might represent your intuitive, creative, emotional side. If you're someone who's very nurturing and receptive, it might represent your assertive, goal-directed qualities. Integrating these complementary aspects creates a kind of inner marriage that makes you more whole and balanced. You develop access to a fuller range of human experience and capability. You're no longer trapped in one-dimensional ways of being. The final stage that Jung identified is the encounter with what he called the self, capital S. This isn't your ego or your personality, but something much deeper. It's the organizing principle of your entire psyche, the part of you that knows who you're meant to become and orchestrates your growth toward that potential. Jung often described the self as having a transpersonal quality. It's both deeply personal and yet connected to something larger than your individual identity. When you begin to align with yourself, life starts to feel more meaningful and purposeful. You're no longer just reacting to external circumstances or following scripts that others have written for you. You're participating consciously in your own becoming, making choices that reflect your deepest values and authentic nature. Now, you might be wondering how exactly you access these deeper layers of yourself through solitude. This is where specific practices become crucial. The first practice I want to share with you is dream keeping. Dreams are one of the most direct ways your unconscious communicates with your conscious mind. They're like letters from your deeper self, full of symbols and messages that can guide your individuation process. Most people dismiss their dreams as random neurological activity, but Jung discovered that dreams have their own logic and wisdom. They often present solutions to problems you're wrestling with, reveal hidden aspects of situations you're facing, or introduce you to parts of yourself you haven't fully acknowledged. To begin working with your dreams, keep a journal by your bed and write down whatever you remember as soon as you wake up, even if it's just fragments or emotions. Don't worry about whether the dreams seem meaningful or coherent at first. The act of paying attention to your dreams signals to your unconscious that you're interested in this communication. And typically, dream recall improves with practice. Look for recurring themes, symbols, or characters in your dreams. These repetitions are usually signs that your unconscious is trying to draw your attention to something important. Pay special attention to dreams that evoke strong emotions or that feel particularly vivid and memorable. These often carry the most significant messages. The second practice is active imagination, which Jung considered one of the most powerful tools for individuation. Active imagination involves deliberately engaging with the images, fantasies, and inner figures that arise spontaneously in your mind during quiet, receptive states. This isn't daydreaming or wishful thinking. It's a structured dialogue with your unconscious. You might visualize yourself in a particular setting, perhaps a forest, a cave, or an empty room, and see what images or figures appear. Then you engage these images as if they were real, asking questions, listening to responses, and paying attention to what emerges. The key is to maintain a balance between active engagement and receptive listening. You're not trying to control what happens, but you're also not passively observing. You're participating in a creative collaboration with your deeper self. Some people find it helpful to begin active imagination sessions with a specific question or intention. You might ask about a decision you're facing, a relationship challenge, or simply request guidance about your life direction. Then you enter a meditative state and see what imagery or inner dialogue emerges in response. The third practice involves what I call threshold rituals, conscious ways of marking transitions and deepening your relationship with solitude. These don't have to be elaborate ceremonies. They can be simple actions that signal to yourself that you're entering sacred time for inner work. This might be lighting a candle before your meditation practice, taking a specific walk that you designate as your thinking route, or creating a special space in your home that's dedicated solely to solitude and reflection. The specific form matters less than the intentionality behind it. Threshold rituals help your psyche shift gears from external engagement to internal receptivity. They create a sense of sacred time and space that supports deeper introspection and self-discovery. Regular solitude practices also require what I call environmental curation. This means consciously creating conditions that support your inner work. This might involve finding places in nature where you can be alone and quiet, setting up a meditation space in your home, or establishing regular periods where you disconnect from technology and external stimulation. The goal isn't to become antisocial or to avoid all external input, but to create consistent opportunities for your authentic self to emerge without the constant pressure of social performance or external distraction. One of the most powerful aspects of working with solitude is learning to distinguish between different types of inner voices. We all have an ongoing internal dialogue, but not all of these voices represent our authentic self. Some are internalized criticism from parents or teachers, some are cultural conditioning, and some are fear-based ego defenses. Learning to identify which voices are actually guiding you toward greater authenticity versus which ones are keeping you trapped in old patterns is a crucial skill for individuation. Generally, the voice of your authentic self has a quality of gentle firmness. It doesn't shame or criticize, but it also doesn't enable self-deception. It encourages growth while accepting your current reality. The individuated person isn't someone who's achieved some final state of perfection or enlightenment. It's someone who's developed a conscious, ongoing relationship with their own depth and complexity. They've learned to navigate their inner landscape with increasing skill and to integrate their discoveries into their daily life and relationships. This integration is crucial because individuation isn't about becoming a hermit or rejecting human connection. It's about becoming so authentically yourself that your relationships become more genuine and satisfying. When you're not constantly trying to be someone else or seeking validation for a false self, you can show up more honestly in your connections with others. People who've done significant individuation work often report that their relationships improve dramatically. They're less reactive, less needy, and less likely to project their unconscious patterns onto others. They can offer genuine presence and support because they're not constantly managing their own internal chaos. The process of individuation also tends to make people more creative and innovative. When you have access to your full range of psychological resources, including the previously rejected or unconscious parts of yourself, you have more raw material for creative expression and problem solving. Many artists, writers, and innovators have recognized this connection between solitude and creativity. They understand that their best work emerges from periods of quiet introspection and inner dialogue. This isn't about becoming self-absorbed, but about accessing the deeper sources of inspiration and insight that exist within everyone. Now, I want to address some common obstacles that people encounter when they begin working with solitude for individuation. The first is what I call solitude anxiety, the discomfort that arises when you first start spending significant time alone with your thoughts. This is completely normal and usually diminishes as you develop greater tolerance for your own inner experience. If you find yourself feeling anxious or restless during solo time, try starting with shorter periods and gradually extending them. You might begin with just 10 or 15 minutes of quiet reflection and slowly work up to longer sessions as your comfort level increases. Another common challenge is the tendency to use solitude as an escape from difficult emotions rather than a space to explore them. True individuation requires facing whatever arises in your inner experience with curiosity and compassion rather than judgment or avoidance. This means being willing to sit with sadness, anger, fear, or confusion when they arise, rather than immediately reaching for distractions. These difficult emotions often contain important information about what needs attention or healing in your life. Some people also struggle with what feels like lack of progress or dramatic insights. Individuation is typically a gradual process, rather than a series of sudden revelations. The changes often happen so subtly that you might not notice them until you look back over months or years and realize how much you've grown and changed. Trust the process even when it feels slow or unclear. Your psyche has its own wisdom about timing and pacing. What matters most is maintaining consistent engagement with your inner world rather than forcing particular outcomes or insights. For those of you ready to begin this journey in earnest, I have a specific homework assignment that will accelerate your individuation process significantly. For the next 2 weeks, I want you to keep a detailed dream journal. This isn't just about recording what happens in your dreams, but about beginning to develop a relationship with your unconscious mind. Here's exactly what I want you to do. Place a notebook and pen next to your bed before you go to sleep. As soon as you wake up, before you get out of bed or check your phone or start thinking about your day, write down everything you can remember from your dreams. Even if you only remember a feeling or a single image, write it down. Don't worry about whether the dream seems significant or meaningful. Don't try to interpret them immediately. Just record them as faithfully as you can. Include details about settings, characters, emotions, colors, and any dialogue you remember. After 2 weeks, go back and read through all your dream entries. Look for patterns, recurring symbols, or themes. Pay special attention to any images or scenarios that appear multiple times. Note which dreams evoke the strongest emotional responses, whether positive or negative. Make a list of the symbols that appear most frequently in your dreams during these 2 weeks. These recurring symbols are often key messages from your unconscious about what's most important for your individuation process right now. They might represent aspects of yourself that need attention, guidance about decisions you're facing, or invitations to explore new dimensions of your personality. Some common symbolic themes that often emerge during intensive dream work include animals, which frequently represent instinctual or natural aspects of yourself; water, which often relates to emotions or unconscious content; houses or buildings, which typically represent different aspects of your personality or life situation; and travel, or journeys, which usually symbolize psychological or spiritual development. But remember, dream symbols are highly personal. A snake might represent wisdom and healing for one person and danger or deception for another. The key is to notice what associations and emotions each symbol evokes for you personally rather than relying on generic dream dictionaries. After you complete this 2-week dream intensive, you'll have a much clearer sense of what your unconscious is trying to communicate to you about your individuation journey. You'll also have developed the habit of paying attention to your inner world, which is the foundation of all individuation work. This practice of dream keeping, combined with regular periods of solitude for reflection and active imagination, creates a powerful framework for ongoing self-discovery and development. You're essentially establishing a conscious dialogue with the deeper aspects of yourself that most people never access. Remember, individuation isn't a destination you arrive at, but an ongoing process of becoming more authentically yourself. It's about developing the courage to be who you really are, rather than who you think you should be. And solitude provides the sacred space where this authentic self can emerge and flourish. The journey of individuation through solitude isn't always easy, but it's one of the most rewarding investments you can make in your own life and well-being. As you develop a deeper relationship with yourself, you'll find that everything else in your life begins to align more naturally with your true values and aspirations. Your homework starts tonight. Get that notebook ready and prepare to discover what your dreams have been trying to tell you about who you're meant to become. Shadow material encompasses aspects of the self that are often rejected or disowned. These disowned aspects include emotions such as anger, fear, and dependency. Shadow aspects remain largely unconscious in daily interactions. Acknowledging and integrating shadow material can lead to greater self-awareness and personal growth. Unacknowledged shadow aspects can manifest as projection onto others. Solitude minimizes external distractions, fostering an environment conducive to introspection. Reduced social pressures in solitude allow for the surfacing of inner thoughts and feelings. Hidden aspects of the self become more accessible in the absence of external stimuli. The quiet environment created by solitude facilitates the exploration of one's internal landscape. Solitude provides a unique opportunity to confront and understand deeply rooted emotions and beliefs. Shadow material manifests through strong emotional reactions. Triggers are specific situations or interactions that reveal shadow aspects. Emotional reactions serve as indicators of underlying shadow elements. Identifying triggers is the first step in understanding shadow material. Shadow material is often associated with suppressed or unacknowledged aspects of the self. Understanding shadow material can lead to greater self-awareness and personal growth. The shadow represents personality aspects that are disowned due to perceived negativity or undesirability. These disowned aspects are often suppressed or hidden from conscious awareness. The shadow includes traits that an individual deems unacceptable or inconsistent with their self-image. Acknowledging and integrating the shadow can lead to greater self-awareness and psychological wholeness. The shadow self encompasses repressed emotions such as anger, jealousy, and fear. Undesirable traits like selfishness and dependency also form part of the shadow. The shadow is composed of elements that are often hidden or denied by the conscious self. Repressed emotions and undesirable traits contribute to the overall composition of the shadow self. Understanding the shadow self involves acknowledging and integrating these hidden aspects of personality. Solitude allows repressed aspects of the self to surface into conscious awareness. Without social distractions, the mind is free to explore its internal landscape. Repressed aspects, previously hidden, can emerge and be integrated into the conscious self. Conscious awareness expands in solitude, fostering self-understanding and personal growth. In solitude, the absence of external validation can diminish the ego's defenses. Weakened ego defenses allow unconscious shadow elements to emerge. The shadow represents repressed or unacknowledged aspects of the self. External validation typically reinforces ego defenses, keeping shadow elements suppressed. Solitude promotes introspection, facilitating a thorough analysis of one's own thoughts. Self-reflection in isolation allows for a deeper understanding of personal feelings and emotional responses. Examining behaviors in solitude can lead to improved self-awareness and personal growth. Increased self-reflection provides opportunities to identify and address personal weaknesses. Through introspection, individuals can gain clarity on their values and life goals. The initial phase of shadow work involves identifying situations that provoke intense emotional responses. Becoming aware of triggers is the first step toward understanding and integrating the shadow self. Strong emotional reactions serve as indicators of unresolved inner conflicts. These triggering situations often reflect aspects of the shadow self that have been repressed or disowned. Recognizing triggers allows for conscious exploration of underlying emotions and beliefs. This awareness is crucial for personal growth and emotional integration. A trigger event initiates an emotional response. Observe the specific emotions that surface following a trigger. Common emotional responses include anger, fear, and resentment. Identifying specific emotions is crucial for effective emotional regulation. A non-judgmental inventory involves acknowledging shadow aspects without self-criticism. The process begins with identifying and listing emerging shadow aspects. Acceptance is key. Each aspect should be acknowledged without assigning value or blame. This inventory facilitates self-awareness and personal growth by understanding inner complexities. Identifying recurring patterns and triggers and associated emotions is crucial for uncovering core shadow themes. These recurring patterns reveal underlying, often unconscious, shadow aspects of the self. Shadow themes are deep-seated patterns of thought, feeling, and behavior that are often disowned or repressed. Recognizing these themes allows for integration and a more complete understanding of one's self. Projections involve attributing one's own unacceptable qualities or traits to others. Projections are a manifestation of shadow material, reflecting aspects of the self that are disowned or repressed. By projecting, individuals unconsciously attempt to externalize and distance themselves from undesirable aspects of their personality. Recognizing projections is crucial for self-awareness and integrating shadow aspects into a more complete sense of self. Projections involve attributing one's own unacceptable qualities or feelings to another person. Disliking a specific trait in others may indicate a suppressed presence of that trait within oneself. Acknowledging shared qualities can transform negative projections into opportunities for self-awareness and growth. Reclaiming projections involves recognizing and integrating disowned aspects of the self. Shadow work provides insights into one's unmet needs and vulnerabilities. Understanding unmet needs is crucial for personal growth and self-awareness. Identifying vulnerabilities allows for targeted strategies to build resilience and emotional strength. Shadow work facilitates a deeper understanding of the self by exploring hidden aspects of the psyche. Shadow aspects represent the disowned or unacknowledged parts of the self. Integration involves accepting these shadow aspects as integral components of the whole self. Rejection or suppression of shadow aspects hinders psychological wholeness and balance. Acceptance fosters self-awareness and promotes psychological well-being. The integration process transforms fragmented self-perceptions into a cohesive and authentic identity. Constant reassurance, seeking from a partner, can trigger intense irritation in some individuals. This irritation may stem from feeling overwhelmed by the perceived neediness and emotional demands. Individuals may perceive constant reassurance seeking as a sign of insecurity or lack of trust. The need for constant validation can be interpreted as a challenge to one's own sense of self-sufficiency and emotional independence. Repeated requests for reassurance can create a cycle of dependency and resentment within the relationship. Understanding the underlying reasons for irritation is crucial for fostering healthier communication and relationship dynamics. The trigger in this scenario is the partner's need for reassurance. This need for reassurance evokes feelings of annoyance in the other partner. The need for reassurance can also trigger feelings of impatience. Identifying the trigger is the first step in managing emotional responses. Understanding the trigger allows for proactive strategies to be developed. Effective management of triggers can lead to healthier relationship dynamics. The shadow aspect may manifest as a repressed need for validation. This repressed need for validation can stem from deep-seated insecurities. The shadow aspect can also be a fear of being overly dependent on others. This fear of dependency may arise from past experiences of betrayal or abandonment. Identifying the shadow aspect is crucial for personal growth and self-acceptance. Acknowledging these hidden aspects allows for integration and a more authentic self. Individuals may acknowledge a periodic need for reassurance. This acknowledgement reflects an awareness of one's own emotional requirements. The fear of appearing needy can influence behavior and self-perception. This fear often stems from concerns about vulnerability and potential rejection. Understanding these feelings is a crucial step in self-awareness and emotional regulation. Projection involves attributing one's own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, or motives to another person. Fear of dependency can be projected onto a partner, leading to misinterpretations of their behavior. Recognizing projection requires self-awareness and introspection to identify one's own underlying feelings. Understanding projection can help individuals interpret their reactions to their partner's actions more accurately. Addressing projected feelings promotes healthier relationship dynamics and reduces conflict. Understanding allows individuals to respond with increased empathy. Empathy fosters healthier boundaries within relationships. Setting healthy boundaries is a key component of emotional intelligence. Effective communication is essential for establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries. Shadow work begins with noticing triggers that elicit strong emotional reactions. Creating a non-judgmental inventory involves honestly acknowledging both positive and negative aspects of oneself. Projections, where we attribute our own unwanted traits to others, can be transformed into self-knowledge. Through shadow work, negative projections can be converted into valuable self-awareness and personal growth. Integrating shadow material enhances self-awareness. Shadow integration leads to improved interpersonal relationships. A more authentic sense of self emerges through acknowledging and integrating shadow aspects. The integration of shadow material provides a path to wholeness. Self-compassion is crucial for approaching shadow work safely and effectively. A willingness to learn facilitates a transformative experience during shadow work. Safe shadow work requires integrating difficult aspects of the self with understanding and acceptance. Transformative experiences during shadow work lead to personal growth and self-awareness. Approaching shadow work with caution ensures a more controlled and manageable exploration of the subconscious. The ultimate goal of shadow work is to achieve a more complete and integrated sense of self. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. A neural network is a computational model inspired by the structure and function of biological neural networks. Neural networks consist of interconnected nodes, or artificial neurons, organized in layers. Each connection between neurons has a weight that determines the strength of the signal. During training, the network adjusts these weights to improve its performance on a given task. Activation functions introduce nonlinearity, enabling the network to learn complex patterns. Neural networks are used in various applications, including image recognition, natural language processing, and predictive modeling. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. The input placeholder indicates where specific content should be inserted or replaced. Placeholders act as temporary stand-ins, marking spots for future additions or modifications. They ensure that content is correctly positioned and integrated within a larger structure. Placeholders are essential in design and development for maintaining layout and functionality during iterative processes. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. The CRISPR-Cas9 system is a gene editing technology derived from a naturally occurring genome editing system in bacteria. The system consists of two key components: the Cas9 enzyme, which acts like molecular scissors, and a guide RNA. The guide RNA is designed to match a specific DNA sequence in the genome that needs to be edited. Once the guide RNA finds its target, the Cas9 enzyme cuts the DNA at that precise location. The cell's natural repair mechanisms then kick in to repair the break, which can be manipulated to disable a gene or insert a new one. CRISPR-Cas9 has broad applications in gene therapy, drug discovery, and basic research. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. The CRISPR-Cas9 system is a gene editing technology derived from a naturally occurring genome editing system in bacteria. The system consists of two key components: the Cas9 enzyme, which acts as molecular scissors, and a guide RNA gRNA. The guide RNA is designed to match a specific DNA sequence in the target gene that needs to be edited. Once the guide RNA finds its target, the Cas9 enzyme cuts the DNA at the specified location. After the DNA is cut, the cell's natural repair mechanisms kick in to fix the break. This repair process can either disrupt the gene or insert a new, desired sequence into the genome. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. The input placeholder signifies a temporary substitute for actual content. Placeholders are used in various fields to reserve space for content that will be added later. They serve as visual or textual cues, indicating where specific elements should be placed or what type of information is expected. Common applications include software development, design prototyping, and content creation. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. Electromagnetic waves are disturbances that propagate through space, carrying energy without requiring a medium. These waves are characterized by their frequency and wavelength, which are inversely proportional. The electromagnetic spectrum encompasses a wide range of frequencies, from radio waves to gamma rays. Electromagnetic waves are generated by accelerating charged particles. Applications of electromagnetic waves include communication, medical imaging, and energy transmission. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. The input placeholder represents a temporary substitute for actual content or data. Placeholders are commonly used in design and development to indicate where specific elements will be placed. Using placeholders helps visualize the structure and layout of a design before the final content is available. Placeholders ensure a consistent visual framework and prevent layout shifts during content integration. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. A neural network is a computational model inspired by the structure and function of biological neural networks. Neural networks consist of interconnected nodes, or neurons, organized in layers: input, hidden, and output. Each connection between neurons has a weight that determines the strength of the signal. During training, the network adjusts these weights to minimize the difference between its predictions and the actual values. Neural networks are used for tasks such as image recognition, natural language processing, and predictive modeling. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. A gene is a segment of DNA that contains instructions for building a specific protein or performing a particular function. Genes are the fundamental units of heredity and are passed down from parents to offspring. Genes determine various traits, including physical characteristics, predispositions to diseases, and other biological attributes. The sequence of nucleotides within a gene dictates the amino acid sequence of the protein it encodes. Mutations, or changes in the DNA sequence, can alter gene function and lead to variations in traits or diseases. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. Placeholder content requires replacement with actual explanatory text to generate meaningful captions and compositions. Without specific details, the visual composition will remain generic and lack informative value. To create effective educational content, the caption must accurately reflect the subject matter, and the composition must visually support it. The visual design should enhance understanding through clear data representation and intuitive visual cues. Remember to provide the explanatory text to enable the generation of relevant and informative content. The CRISPR-Cas9 system is a gene editing technology derived from a naturally occurring genome editing system found in bacteria. The system consists of two key components: the Cas9 enzyme, which acts as molecular scissors, and a guide RNA, gRNA, that directs the Cas9 enzyme to a specific DNA sequence. The gRNA is a short RNA sequence that is complementary to the target DNA sequence in the genome. Once the Cas9 enzyme and gRNA complex bind to the target DNA, the Cas9 enzyme cuts both strands of the DNA at the specified location. The cell's natural DNA repair mechanisms then kick in to repair the break, which can result in gene disruption or the insertion of a new gene. CRISPR-Cas9 technology has broad applications in gene therapy, drug discovery, and basic research. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. The principle of supply and demand is a fundamental concept in economics that describes the relationship between the availability of a product and the desire for that product. An increase in demand, with supply held constant, leads to a higher equilibrium price and quantity. Conversely, an increase in supply, with demand held constant, results in a lower equilibrium price and a higher quantity. Market equilibrium is achieved when the quantity supplied equals the quantity demanded, resulting in a stable price. The input placeholder serves as a temporary stand-in for actual content during the design or development phase. Placeholders help visualize the layout and structure of a design before final assets are available. Using placeholders ensures that the design remains flexible and adaptable to future content changes. Placeholders are essential for iterative design processes, allowing for rapid prototyping and testing. The input placeholder serves as a temporary substitute for actual data or content. It is used to maintain layout and structure during the design and development phases. Placeholders are replaced with real content before the final product is released. Using placeholders ensures consistent visual representation and prevents layout shifts. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. Gene editing is a type of genetic engineering in which DNA is inserted, deleted, modified, or replaced in the genome of a living organism. CRISPR-Cas9 is a widely used gene editing technology that uses a guide RNA to target a specific DNA sequence. The CRISPR-Cas9 system can be used to disrupt, correct, or insert new genetic information at precise locations within the genome. Gene editing has potential applications in treating genetic diseases, developing new therapies, and enhancing crop yields. Off-target effects, ethical considerations, and regulatory oversight are key challenges in the development and application of gene editing technologies. Further research and development are needed to ensure the safe and responsible use of gene editing technologies. The input placeholder requires replacement with explanatory text describing a principle, concept, mechanism, or phenomenon. This text may include background context, core definitions, causal logic, advantages, disadvantages, or real-world applications. The output should consist of scene headings, informative captions, and detailed visual compositions based on the explanatory text. The captions must be factual, logical, and informative, derived directly from the source text and suitable for on-screen display. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. A placeholder temporarily reserves space for content that will be added later. Placeholders ensure layout integrity and prevent visual disruption before the final content is available. Common placeholder types include text blocks, image containers, and loading animations. Placeholder, 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 placeholder. Carl Jung's theory suggests that within every woman exists an animus. The animus represents the unconscious masculine side of a woman's psyche. The animus embodies masculine qualities and archetypal masculine patterns. The animus is a component of the collective unconscious, influencing a woman's interactions and perceptions. Understanding the animus can lead to greater self-awareness and psychological integration for women. The animus represents the unconscious masculine side of a woman's personality. It embodies qualities such as logic, assertiveness, and rationality. These masculine qualities may not always be outwardly expressed. The animus functions as an inner guide, influencing a woman's thinking and behavior. The animus develops in women through interactions with male figures. These male figures include fathers, brothers, and societal influences. The animus is shaped by these relationships and influences. These interactions contribute to the psychological development of the animus. Women may project their animus, the unconscious masculine side of a woman, onto external male figures. This projection can lead to the idealization of certain male figures. Conversely, the animus projection can also result in the demonization of other male figures. The nature of this projection is rooted in the woman's own inner masculine complex. The animus projection influences how women perceive and interact with men. Understanding animus projection is crucial for comprehending interpersonal dynamics and psychological well-being. Psychological projection can lead to unhealthy relationship dynamics. Individuals may seek partners to fulfill unmet aspects of their inner selves. This dynamic creates dependency and unrealistic expectations within the relationship. Unmet needs projected onto a partner can lead to disappointment and conflict. Healthy relationships require individuals to address their own needs and insecurities. Self-awareness and personal responsibility are crucial for fostering balanced relational dynamics. For women without male partners, autonomy and self-reliance are particularly crucial. The integration of the animus is essential for achieving this autonomy. Animus integration supports self-reliance by fostering assertiveness and decision-making skills. This integration allows women to navigate social challenges independently. Self-reliance empowers women to define their own paths and achieve personal fulfillment. Ultimately, animus integration enhances a woman's capacity for self-determination and resilience. Integrating the animus enables women to tap into their inner strength. This integration facilitates independent decision-making. Reliance on external validation decreases as inner strength grows. Autonomy and independence are enhanced through this process. The guided journaling exercise facilitates an encounter with the inner masculine. Journaling provides a structured framework for exploring and understanding one's inner self. This exercise encourages introspection and self-discovery through written reflection. The process involves prompts designed to elicit thoughts and feelings related to the inner masculine. Guided journaling helps individuals connect with and integrate aspects of their inner masculine. This practice aims to foster self-awareness and personal growth through focused writing. The visualization technique encourages viewers to imagine their animus as a distinct inner presence. This process facilitates a deeper connection with one's internal self. The animus is explored through guided visualization, allowing for personal discovery. By visualizing the animus, individuals can better understand their internal landscape. The visualization aims to foster a stronger sense of self-awareness and inner peace. The exercise involves engaging in a dialogue with one's animus. Participants are prompted to ask the animus about its needs. The exercise explores the desires of the animus through directed inquiry. Understanding the animus involves exploring its unique perspectives. Internal dialogue facilitates a deeper understanding of the animus's role. This process encourages self-reflection and integration of the animus's attributes. Dialogue enables women to recognize their unacknowledged masculine qualities. Self-awareness is achieved through acknowledging and understanding inner needs. Unacknowledged masculine qualities can be identified through introspective communication. Insights into personal needs are gained through reflective dialogue and self-analysis. Recognizing inner masculine traits contributes to a more complete understanding of the self. Journaling prompts facilitate exploration of one's relationship with their animus. These prompts guide individuals in understanding the animus's influence on their lives. Reflective practice through journaling enhances self-awareness and personal insight. Journaling provides a structured approach to examining the animus and its effects. Identifying masculine traits involves recognizing inherent qualities within oneself. Assertiveness is a key masculine trait, characterized by confident and direct communication. Ambition, as a masculine trait, drives individuals to set and achieve challenging goals. Logical thinking involves analyzing information and making rational decisions. Self-acceptance is crucial for integrating masculine traits into one's identity. Exploring masculine qualities enhances self-awareness and personal growth. Integrating the animus leads to more conscious relationship decisions. This integration fosters a greater sense of personal empowerment within relationships. Conscious decisions in relationships are characterized by clarity and intentionality. Empowered decisions in relationships promote self-awareness and balanced interactions. Integrating the animus enhances a woman's ability to establish and uphold healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries are essential for maintaining balanced and respectful relationships. Assertiveness plays a key role in setting and communicating personal boundaries effectively. Clear communication of boundaries fosters mutual understanding and reduces potential conflicts. Maintaining boundaries protects one's emotional and mental well-being. Respecting personal boundaries strengthens relationships and promotes individual growth. Integrating the inner masculine reduces a woman's tendency to project her animus onto others. Projection of the animus involves attributing unconscious masculine aspects to external figures. Understanding one's inner masculine allows for a more balanced perception of external relationships. Psychological maturation involves recognizing and accepting one's inner masculine qualities. Reduced projection leads to healthier interpersonal dynamics and relationships. Integration fosters empowerment, enabling individuals to navigate relationships from a position of inner strength. Self-reliance is cultivated through the development of personal strength. Empowerment arises from a foundation of self-reliance and personal strength. Inner strength allows for more resilient and balanced relationships. Integration of the animus enhances a woman's sense of autonomy. This integration allows for choices aligned with her authentic self. Autonomy is strengthened through the animus integration. Authentic choices stem from a deeper understanding of the self. The animus acts as a catalyst for personal empowerment. Personal freedom is achieved through alignment with one's true nature. A case study illustrates the practical application of animus integration in decision-making. Prior to animus integration, the woman experiences indecisiveness and lacks assertiveness in her career. The animus, representing masculine qualities, is initially an unconscious and undeveloped aspect of her personality. Through self-reflection and analysis, the woman begins to understand and integrate her animus. Integration of the animus empowers the woman to make a more assertive and confident career decision. This assertive decision leads to increased professional satisfaction and personal fulfillment. This case study illustrates the practical application of understanding one's animus in interpersonal relationships. The woman's improved understanding of her animus led to the establishment of healthier boundaries within her friendship. Setting boundaries is a crucial step in fostering balanced and respectful relationships. The animus, when understood, can be a powerful tool for self-awareness and personal growth. By recognizing and managing her animus, the woman was able to create a more fulfilling and sustainable friendship. Societal expectations can inhibit the expression of masculine traits in women. These expectations often lead to the suppression of assertiveness and competitiveness. The pressure to conform can create internal conflict and limit personal growth. Challenging these expectations is crucial for fostering gender equality and self-expression. Embracing diverse qualities allows women to achieve their full potential. Embracing inner masculinity can be a source of strength. Inner masculinity serves as a catalyst for creativity. Self-acceptance is key to unlocking one's inner potential. Inner strength and creativity are enhanced through embracing inner masculinity. Acknowledging inner masculinity promotes personal growth and empowerment. Integration of the animus promotes enhanced psychological well-being. Self-acceptance is a key benefit derived from animus integration. A balanced sense of self emerges through the integration process. The animus integration process fosters a more complete and unified personal identity. Achieving animus integration contributes to overall personal growth and emotional stability. The script concludes by summarizing the key points discussed. Viewers are encouraged to explore their inner masculine through journaling. Self-reflection is presented as a tool for continued personal growth. Journaling aids in processing thoughts and emotions related to one's inner masculine. Continued exploration and reflection foster a deeper understanding of oneself. Inner work is essential for achieving personal growth and self-understanding. Integrating the animus leads to a sense of empowerment and wholeness. Personal growth involves understanding and accepting all aspects of oneself. Empowerment arises from the conscious integration of inner conflicts and contradictions. The animus functions as a bridge, connecting a woman's conscious and unconscious mind. This connection facilitates greater self-understanding and psychological integration. By understanding the animus, a woman can access deeper aspects of her psyche. The animus aids in the reconciliation of opposing inner forces, leading to wholeness. The animus is defined as an unconscious complex. Conversely, the ego is the center of conscious awareness. A key distinction lies in the level of awareness. The animus operates outside of conscious thought. The ego functions as the primary point of reference for daily experiences and decision-making. Understanding the difference between the animus and ego is essential for psychological clarity. The animus and ego represent fundamentally different aspects of the psyche. A well-integrated animus can enhance creativity. Integration of the animus provides access to new ideas. The animus offers novel perspectives that fuel creative expression. Creative expression is amplified through the animus. Understanding the animus can improve decision-making processes. Effective decision-making involves balancing emotional and rational considerations. The animus represents the unconscious masculine side of a woman's personality, influencing her assertiveness and decision-making. By recognizing the influence of the animus, individuals can make more informed and balanced choices. Integrating emotional intelligence with rational analysis leads to better outcomes in complex situations. Understanding the animus promotes self-awareness, which is essential for navigating challenging decisions. Integrating the animus fosters a deeper connection with one's inner self. This integration contributes to spiritual growth by enhancing self-awareness and understanding. Spiritual growth involves cultivating a profound understanding of the world around oneself. The animus integration process facilitates a more profound spiritual connection. The animus represents the unconscious masculine side of a woman's personality. The shadow embodies the repressed or disowned aspects of the personality. Both the animus and shadow reside in the unconscious mind. The animus and shadow are closely related, influencing each other. Integration of the animus and shadow leads to psychological wholeness. Acknowledging these aspects is essential for personal growth and self-awareness. Integrating the shadow involves acknowledging disowned aspects of the self. These disowned aspects include both positive and negative qualities. Acceptance is a crucial step in the shadow integration process. Shadow integration leads to a more complete and authentic self. Unacknowledged shadow aspects can manifest as destructive behaviors. Acknowledging the shadow allows for conscious management of these aspects. Integrating the animus is an essential part of individuation. Individuation is a lifelong journey of becoming a whole and complete individual. The animus represents the unconscious masculine side of a woman's personality. Integration involves acknowledging and understanding the qualities and influences of the animus. Through individuation, the individual strives for psychological wholeness and self-realization. The process of individuation fosters a deeper understanding of oneself and one's place in the world. Individuation is a psychological process involving the integration of all personality aspects. This integration includes both the conscious and unconscious elements of the psyche. Furthermore, individuation requires the harmonization of masculine and feminine qualities within an individual. The process aims to create a whole and balanced self through the unification of these diverse elements. Achieving individuation leads to a more complete and integrated understanding of one's self. A woman's relationship with her animus profoundly shapes her interpersonal dynamics. The animus, as an inner masculine aspect, influences how a woman relates to men. Understanding the animus is crucial for fostering healthier relationships with male figures. Unresolved animus issues can manifest as conflict or misunderstanding in relationships. Integration of the animus promotes balance and harmony in interpersonal connections. Self-awareness regarding the animus allows for more conscious and fulfilling relationships. A well-integrated animus fosters healthier and more fulfilling relationships. Mutual respect forms the foundation of strong interpersonal connections. Understanding promotes empathy and deeper emotional bonds. Healthy relationships are characterized by reciprocity and balanced emotional exchange. An unintegrated animus can contribute to unhealthy relationship dynamics. Projection involves attributing one's own unacceptable qualities or feelings onto another person. Idealization is the exaggeration of another person's positive qualities, often ignoring their flaws. Demonization involves viewing another person as entirely evil or worthless, devoid of positive qualities. The animus relates to power dynamics within the individual. The animus influences the individual's sense of control. The animus affects interpersonal relationships through power dynamics. Understanding the animus can improve self-awareness regarding power and control. The animus can manifest as either assertive strength or domineering control. Integrating the animus can empower women. Empowerment enables women to take control of their lives. Taking control involves making choices aligned with personal values. Personal values serve as a guiding compass for decision-making. Aligned choices lead to a sense of personal agency and fulfillment. The animus assists women in accepting their vulnerability. The animus aids in expressing emotions in a healthy manner. Embracing vulnerability and expressing emotions are key aspects of psychological well-being. The animus facilitates the development of emotional resilience. Expressing emotions is essential for psychological health and overall well-being. Emotional expression allows for the processing of difficult feelings and experiences. A safe space can facilitate the exploration and understanding of complex emotions. Healthy emotional expression contributes to improved mental and emotional resilience. The animus enhances intuition, granting access to insights beyond conscious awareness. Intuition, when enhanced by the animus, provides access to deeper levels of understanding. The Animus facilitates the intuitive grasp of knowledge that is otherwise inaccessible. By enhancing intuition, the Animus expands cognitive capabilities. Intuitive insights are valuable for decision-making processes. Intuition aids in effectively solving problems. Intuition helps navigate complex situations. Intuitive insights offer cognitive benefits. The Animus can inspire creativity, unlocking novel ideas and viewpoints. Art, music, and writing are common avenues for expressing Animus-driven creativity. Creative endeavors provide outlets for translating internal perspectives into tangible forms. The Animus facilitates access to new perspectives, enriching artistic expression. Creative expression can be a powerful way to connect with one's inner self. Engaging in creative activities fosters a deeper understanding of personal identity and values. Creative endeavors provide an outlet for emotional release and self-discovery. The act of creation can lead to a profound sense of meaning and fulfillment in life. Expressing oneself through art, music, or writing can enhance overall well-being and life satisfaction. Creative expression allows individuals to tap into their unique potential and contribute to the world. The Animus aids women in uncovering their life's purpose. This is achieved by granting access to their core values and passions. Deepest values and passions are fundamental to existential meaning. Understanding these elements provides a framework for discovering one's unique role and contribution. Discovering one's purpose can provide a sense of direction. Discovering one's purpose can provide a sense of meaning. Purpose can motivate individuals to make a positive impact on the world. A clear sense of purpose can enhance motivation and drive. Finding purpose often involves aligning personal values with actions. Purpose can provide a framework for making life decisions. The Animus can facilitate meaningful connections with others. It fosters empathy, allowing individuals to understand and share the feelings of others. Compassion, a key element, is enhanced through the Animus, promoting kindness and care. Understanding is deepened, enabling individuals to appreciate diverse perspectives and experiences. These qualities collectively strengthen social bonds and promote community. By developing empathy, compassion, and understanding, the Animus enhances social connection. Connecting with others is crucial for psychological health and overall well-being. Strong and supportive relationships are vital for maintaining mental and emotional stability. Interpersonal relationships serve as a foundation for psychological resilience and personal growth. The Animus can act as a bridge, facilitating the development of meaningful social connections. Cultivating social connections enhances individual happiness and reduces feelings of isolation. The Animus can inspire women to create a lasting legacy. This legacy involves contributing meaningfully to society. Meaningful contributions leave an impactful mark on the world. The Animus fosters the drive to achieve significant accomplishments. This drive translates into tangible and lasting contributions. Ultimately, the Animus empowers women to leave a positive and enduring mark on the world. Creating a legacy provides a sense of purpose and fulfillment. A legacy can inspire future generations to make a positive difference. Social contribution is a key component of building a lasting legacy. Positive impact on the world is a defining characteristic of a meaningful legacy. Animus provides logical reasoning skills. Logical reasoning involves the systematic evaluation of information to form valid conclusions. Animus enhances the ability to analyze complex problems and derive rational solutions. Through logical reasoning, Animus facilitates objective decision-making processes. The Animus archetype provides individuals with the capacity for assertiveness. The Animus enables the setting and maintenance of personal boundaries. Assertiveness, facilitated by the Animus, involves confidently expressing one's needs and opinions. Effective boundary setting, supported by the Animus, protects one's emotional and mental well-being. Animus enhances rational thinking. Animus, as a concept, supports and strengthens the process of rational thought. Rational thinking benefits from the influence and support of Animus. The integration of Animus into cognitive processes leads to more robust and effective rational outcomes. Animus provides a foundation for rationality, enabling more complex and nuanced thought processes. By enhancing rational thinking, Animus contributes to improved decision-making and problem-solving abilities. The Animus concept promotes the development of independence. Independence, fostered by the Animus, enables self-reliance and decision-making autonomy. A strong animus correlates with increased self-confidence and the ability to navigate complex situations independently. Developing the animus encourages individuals to pursue their goals and aspirations without external dependence. The animus facilitates independent thought and action, essential components of personal freedom. Cultivating the animus empowers individuals to take responsibility for their lives and choices. Animus provides inner strength. Animus is the source of resilience. Animus fosters determination. Animus cultivates courage. Animus empowers perseverance. Animus unlocks potential. The animus serves as a source of inspiration for ambition. Ambition is fueled by the internal drive originating from the animus. The animus acts as an inner guide, directing individuals towards ambitious goals. The strength of the animus directly correlates with the intensity of one's ambition. The animus provides the psychological foundation for pursuing challenging and ambitious endeavors. Without the animus, ambition lacks a fundamental impetus. Animus is a source of courage. Animus provides the strength to overcome obstacles. Courage is the result of accessing one's animus. Animus empowers individuals to face adversity. The presence of animus fosters resilience in difficult situations. Accessing animus leads to increased self-confidence and bravery. The animus archetype, representing the unconscious masculine side of a woman, fosters independence. A well-integrated animus promotes self-assured decision-making and assertive action. Self-reliance is enhanced through the animus's capacity for logical reasoning and objective analysis. The animus aids in setting and achieving personal goals by providing inner drive and determination. By embracing the animus, individuals develop a stronger sense of personal agency and self-efficacy. The animus empowers individuals to navigate challenges and assert their needs effectively. The animus concept facilitates self-acceptance. Understanding the animus can lead to greater self-awareness. Self-acceptance is enhanced through acknowledging the animus. Integrating the animus promotes a more complete sense of self. The animus represents the unconscious masculine side of a woman. Visualization involves creating a mental image to facilitate inner exploration. Meeting the animus can lead to greater self-understanding and integration. The inner journey aims to harmonize conscious and unconscious aspects of the self. The animus represents the unconscious masculine side of a woman's psyche. Dialogue with the animus involves exploring inner thoughts and beliefs related to masculinity. Questions can be directed towards understanding the animus's influence on a woman's decisions and relationships. Inquiry can reveal hidden assumptions and projections about men and masculine traits. Understanding the animus can lead to greater self-awareness and integration of masculine and feminine aspects. This integration fosters healthier relationships and a more complete sense of self. The animus represents the unconscious masculine side of a woman's personality. Understanding the animus involves recognizing its influence on a woman's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. The animus can manifest as assertiveness, logic, and a drive for achievement. Unacknowledged, the animus can lead to negativity, stubbornness, and destructive criticism. Identifying the animus's needs requires introspection and self-awareness. Addressing the animus's needs can lead to greater inner balance and personal growth. Understanding the animus involves exploring its various perspectives and viewpoints. The animus can manifest as a critical inner voice, shaping one's self-perception and interactions. Exploring the animus's perspectives requires introspection and self-awareness. Different perspectives of the animus can reveal underlying beliefs and assumptions. Integrating the animus's perspectives leads to a more balanced and complete understanding of oneself. Journaling provides a structured method for reflecting on personal relationship patterns. Identifying recurring themes in relationships can promote self-awareness and personal growth. Analyzing past interactions can reveal underlying needs and communication styles. Documenting emotional responses to relationship dynamics facilitates emotional regulation. Consistent journaling can highlight both positive and negative relationship trends. Recognizing patterns enables proactive adjustments to improve relationship quality. Masculine traits often include strength, courage, independence, and assertiveness. Physical strength is a commonly associated masculine trait, representing power and resilience. Courage, the ability to face fear and adversity, is another recognized masculine attribute. Independence signifies self-reliance and the capacity to act autonomously. Assertiveness involves confidently expressing one's opinions and needs. Journaling provides a structured method for reflecting on personal boundaries. Reflecting on boundaries involves identifying what one is comfortable with and what feels intrusive. Understanding boundaries helps in setting clear expectations in relationships and interactions. Journaling can reveal patterns in boundary violations and inform strategies for assertive communication. Regular reflection supports the maintenance and adjustment of personal boundaries over time. Journaling is a reflective practice that empowers individuals to make informed decisions. Through journaling, individuals can analyze past experiences to understand the factors influencing their decisions. Journaling helps clarify values and priorities, leading to decisions aligned with personal goals. Regular journaling fosters self-awareness, which is crucial for making empowered and authentic choices. Assertive career decisions involve proactive planning and decisive action. Self-assessment is crucial for identifying strengths, weaknesses, and career values. Setting clear, achievable career goals provides direction and motivation. Skill development enhances marketability and opens doors to new opportunities. Networking and mentorship provide valuable insights and support during a career transition. Effective communication and negotiation skills are essential for securing desired roles and compensation. Establishing healthy boundaries is crucial for maintaining balanced and respectful friendships. Clear communication is essential for defining and respecting personal limits within a friendship. Respecting individual needs and priorities strengthens the foundation of a healthy friendship. Setting boundaries prevents resentment and fosters mutual understanding in friendships. Healthy boundaries allow friendships to thrive on mutual support and genuine connection. Societal expectations can inadvertently suppress masculine qualities. These expectations may limit the expression of certain traits deemed unmanly. Suppression can lead to a disconnect between inner identity and outward presentation. Recognizing and addressing these suppressive forces is crucial for individual well-being. Embracing inner masculinity involves recognizing and accepting traits traditionally associated with men. Societal expectations often shape and influence the expression of masculinity. Inner masculinity can be expressed through confidence, assertiveness, and self-reliance. Finding a balance between societal expectations and personal expression is key to embracing inner masculinity. Embracing inner masculinity fosters self-acceptance and personal growth. Psychological well-being encompasses emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Improved mental health is a significant benefit of enhanced psychological well-being. Increased resilience to stress and adversity is fostered by strong psychological well-being. Enhanced psychological well-being correlates with improved physical health outcomes. Self-acceptance fosters inner peace by reducing self-criticism and promoting a positive self-image. Accepting oneself enhances resilience, enabling individuals to navigate challenges and setbacks with greater emotional stability. Self-acceptance improves interpersonal relationships by increasing empathy and reducing defensiveness. Individuals who embrace self-acceptance experience reduced anxiety and depression, leading to improved mental well-being. Self-acceptance promotes authenticity, allowing individuals to live in alignment with their values and beliefs. Embracing self-acceptance encourages personal growth by fostering a willingness to learn from mistakes and embrace imperfections. A balanced self integrates various aspects of one's being, fostering overall well-being. Integration enhances resilience, enabling individuals to navigate challenges with greater ease and adaptability. Achieving balance promotes mental clarity, facilitating improved decision-making and problem-solving abilities. A balanced self cultivates stronger interpersonal relationships through enhanced empathy and communication skills. Key points encapsulate the most crucial information within a broader context. Summaries distill complex information into easily digestible and memorable segments. Effective summaries highlight core concepts, facilitating better understanding and retention. Concise summaries save time and effort by presenting information efficiently. Summaries are essential tools for review, reinforcement, and knowledge consolidation. Self-reflection is a crucial process for personal growth and development. Regular introspection allows individuals to identify areas for improvement and reinforce positive habits. Embracing self-awareness fosters resilience and adaptability in the face of challenges. Consistent self-evaluation promotes a deeper understanding of one's values, motivations, and goals. Empowerment involves fostering a sense of self-efficacy and control over one's circumstances. Gaining empowerment requires access to resources, opportunities, and supportive networks. Empowerment leads to increased confidence, resilience, and the ability to make informed decisions. Empowerment initiatives aim to provide individuals with the tools and knowledge to improve their lives. Empowerment contributes to stronger communities and a more equitable society. Sustained empowerment requires ongoing support and a commitment to social justice. Inner work involves introspection and self-reflection to understand one's thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Engaging in inner work can lead to increased self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Through inner work, individuals can identify and address limiting beliefs and patterns. Consistent inner work fosters personal growth, resilience, and improved relationships. The practice of inner work contributes to a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment in life. Animus, representing the unconscious masculine side in women, significantly influences self-esteem. A balanced integration of animus fosters a stronger sense of personal value and self-worth. Unresolved or negatively perceived animus can lead to diminished self-esteem and self-confidence. Understanding and accepting the animus is crucial for enhancing self-esteem and achieving psychological well-being. Personal value is directly connected to the integration and positive expression of the animus. Animus represents the masculine aspect present in the unconscious of women, according to Jungian psychology. Confidence is the state of feeling certain about one's abilities, qualities, and judgment. The interplay between animus and confidence influences a woman's assertiveness, decision-making, and overall sense of self-worth. Inner assurance arises from the harmonious integration of the animus and cultivated confidence. Self-worth is fundamentally connected to one's inherent value. Animus, in this context, relates to the inner masculine principle and its influence on self-perception. A strong animus integration can positively influence one's sense of self-worth. Conversely, a negatively perceived animus can diminish self-worth. Recognizing and understanding the animus is key to cultivating a healthy sense of self-worth. Acknowledging inherent value is crucial for fostering a positive relationship with one's animus and overall self-esteem. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties. Resilience involves adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress. Resilience is not a trait that people either have or do not have. It involves behaviors, thoughts, and actions that can be learned and developed. Factors contributing to resilience include a supportive network, positive self-view, and problem-solving skills. Enhancing resilience can improve mental well-being and overall life satisfaction. Building resilience is an ongoing process that requires self-awareness, commitment, and practice. Adaptability involves adjusting strategies, goals, or behaviors to effectively respond to new or changing circumstances. Flexibility in response allows for quick pivots and the maintenance of progress despite unexpected obstacles. Fostering adaptability requires cultivating a mindset of openness to change and continuous learning. Effective adaptability enhances resilience and ensures long-term success in dynamic environments. Analytical skills involve the ability to gather, process, and interpret complex information. These skills are crucial for identifying patterns, trends, and relationships within datasets. Effective analysis enables informed decision-making and problem-solving. Analytical thinking requires breaking down complex problems into smaller, manageable components. Strong analytical skills lead to more efficient and accurate solutions. Critical thinking involves the objective analysis and evaluation of an issue in order to form a judgment. Evaluative skills are essential components of critical thinking, enabling informed decision-making. These skills encompass analysis, interpretation, inference, explanation, and self-regulation. Effective critical thinking leads to well-reasoned conclusions and problem-solving capabilities. Informed choices rely on the comprehensive evaluation of available data. The animus, or mind, processes information to facilitate effective decision-making. Effective decision-making involves assessing potential risks and rewards. Informed choices lead to optimized outcomes and reduced uncertainties. Goal setting involves defining specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound SMART objectives. Setting clear goals enhances focus and provides a roadmap for achievement. Achieving set goals boosts self-confidence and reinforces positive behavior patterns. Effective goal setting requires consistent monitoring and adjustment of strategies. Breaking down large goals into smaller, manageable tasks facilitates progress and reduces overwhelm. Regularly reviewing and celebrating milestones maintains motivation and reinforces commitment to long-term objectives. Effective time management involves planning and controlling how time is spent to increase productivity. Prioritization is a key element of time management, focusing on tasks based on their importance and urgency. Time blocking involves scheduling specific blocks of time for particular tasks to maintain focus and avoid distractions. The Pareto principle suggests that 80% of results come from 20% of efforts, emphasizing the importance of identifying high-impact activities. Avoiding multitasking and focusing on one task at a time can significantly improve efficiency and reduce errors. Regularly reviewing and adjusting time management strategies ensures continuous improvement and adaptation to changing priorities. Leadership skills encompass the abilities to guide, influence, and motivate individuals or teams toward achieving common goals. Effective leadership involves clear communication, strategic thinking, and the capacity to inspire trust and confidence. Guidance skills are crucial for providing direction, support, and constructive feedback to foster individual and collective growth. Strong leadership facilitates efficient decision-making, problem-solving, and conflict resolution within a group or organization. Leadership skills are essential for creating a positive and productive work environment that encourages innovation and collaboration. Effective communication involves the clear and accurate exchange of information. Communication relies on shared understanding and mutual interpretation of messages. Verbal and nonverbal cues significantly impact the effectiveness of communication. Active listening is a crucial component of effective communication, ensuring accurate message reception. Feedback mechanisms are essential for verifying message comprehension and adjusting communication strategies. Contextual factors can greatly influence the interpretation and effectiveness of communication. Effective negotiation requires understanding and managing one's own animus. Successful persuasion hinges on controlling emotional responses during negotiation. Negotiation skills involve strategic communication and active listening to achieve mutually beneficial outcomes. Persuasion in negotiation is enhanced by understanding the other party's motivations and objectives. Conflict resolution involves addressing and resolving disputes or disagreements between parties. Mediation is a structured process where a neutral third party helps conflicting parties reach a mutually acceptable agreement. Effective mediation requires active listening, empathy, and skilled communication techniques. The goal of mediation is to facilitate constructive dialogue and find common ground, leading to a voluntary resolution. Teamwork involves collaborative efforts to achieve a common goal. Effective teamwork requires open communication and mutual respect among members. Shared responsibility and accountability are crucial elements of successful teamwork. Teamwork enhances problem-solving capabilities through diverse perspectives and skill sets. Networking involves building and maintaining relationships with individuals for mutual benefit. Effective networking requires active listening and genuine interest in others' perspectives. Establishing common ground and shared interests can strengthen networking connections. Following up after initial contact is crucial for nurturing and solidifying professional relationships. Networking provides opportunities for collaboration, mentorship, and career advancement. Mentorship involves a relationship where an experienced individual guides another person's development. Effective mentorship requires active listening and constructive feedback. Guidance in mentorship fosters skill development and professional growth. A mentor provides support and encouragement to help the mentee overcome challenges. Successful mentorship leads to increased confidence and independence in the mentee. Effective teaching involves the strategic application of various instructional skills to facilitate student learning. Instructional skills encompass communication techniques that enhance clarity and understanding. Assessment strategies provide feedback on student progress and inform instructional adjustments. Engagement techniques foster active participation and maintain student interest in the learning process. Adaptability allows educators to modify their teaching approach based on student needs and learning environments. Learning is the process of acquiring new knowledge, skills, or behaviors. Knowledge acquisition involves the assimilation of information through study, experience, or instruction. Effective learning requires active engagement and critical thinking. Animus, or motivation, significantly impacts the rate and depth of knowledge acquisition. The learning process can be enhanced through various strategies, including repetition, association, and application. Successful knowledge acquisition leads to improved problem-solving abilities and enhanced decision-making skills. Research involves systematic investigation to establish facts and reach new conclusions. Effective research skills include the ability to formulate clear questions and hypotheses. Data collection and analysis are crucial components of the research process. Critical evaluation of sources ensures the reliability and validity of research findings. Innovation is the practical implementation of ideas that result in the introduction of new goods or services. Innovation requires both creative thinking and practical execution to bring novel concepts to fruition. Successful innovation often involves identifying unmet needs and developing solutions that address those needs effectively. Innovation can lead to increased efficiency, improved product quality, and enhanced competitive advantage. Sustained innovation requires a culture that encourages experimentation, tolerates failure, and rewards learning. Innovation is crucial for organizations to adapt to changing market conditions and maintain long-term viability. Entrepreneurship involves identifying opportunities and creating value through innovation and risk-taking. Successful entrepreneurship requires a combination of vision, strategic planning, and effective execution. Entrepreneurs must possess strong leadership skills to motivate teams and navigate challenges. Financial literacy is crucial for managing resources and ensuring the sustainability of a business venture. Effective marketing and sales strategies are essential for reaching target customers and driving revenue growth. Financial literacy encompasses the ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills. Key components of financial literacy include budgeting, saving, investing, and debt management. Effective budgeting involves creating a plan for spending and saving money. Saving money is crucial for achieving financial goals and building a financial safety net. Investing involves allocating money to assets with the expectation of generating income or profit. Debt management focuses on strategies for reducing and avoiding excessive debt. Investing is the act of allocating resources, usually money, with the expectation of generating an income or profit. The primary goal of investing is to increase wealth over time through various financial instruments. Common investment vehicles include stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and real estate, each carrying different levels of risk and potential return. Risk tolerance and investment horizon are key factors in determining an appropriate investment strategy. Diversification, or spreading investments across multiple asset classes, can help mitigate risk. Long-term investing, coupled with the power of compounding, can significantly enhance wealth accumulation. Career planning involves a structured process of self-assessment and goal setting to align personal values with professional opportunities. Effective career planning integrates individual strengths, interests, and skills to identify suitable career paths. Professional growth is a continuous journey of skill development and experience accumulation within a chosen career. Strategic career planning enhances job satisfaction and long-term professional fulfillment. Career planning resources, including mentors and workshops, provide valuable guidance and support for professional development. Effective job searching involves strategic planning and consistent effort. Identifying personal skills and career goals is a crucial first step in the job search process. Networking and leveraging professional connections can significantly enhance job search outcomes. Crafting a compelling resume and cover letter is essential for making a strong first impression. Effective interviewing relies on strong presentation skills to convey confidence and competence. Presentation skills involve structuring information logically and communicating it clearly. Verbal communication includes clear articulation, appropriate tone, and concise language. Nonverbal communication, such as body language and eye contact, significantly impacts the interviewer's perception. Preparation is crucial for delivering a compelling and persuasive presentation during an interview. Practicing presentation skills helps refine delivery and build confidence for successful interviews. Resume building involves strategically presenting skills and experiences to match job requirements. Marketing skills are crucial for effectively showcasing one's abilities and achievements in a resume. A well-structured resume highlights relevant experiences and quantifies accomplishments to demonstrate impact. Tailoring a resume to specific job descriptions increases the likelihood of securing an interview. Effective resume building includes optimizing keywords and formatting for applicant tracking systems, ATS. Resume building is an iterative process that requires continuous refinement and feedback. Salary negotiation involves strategic communication to reach a mutually beneficial agreement on compensation. Preparation is crucial for effective salary negotiation, including researching industry standards and understanding one's own value. Confidence and assertiveness are key traits during salary discussions. Negotiation involves understanding the employer's perspective and constraints. Flexibility and compromise are often necessary to reach a successful salary agreement. Documenting agreements in writing ensures clarity and avoids future misunderstandings. Work ethic significantly influences job performance across various professional domains. A strong work ethic is characterized by dedication, responsibility, and consistent effort toward achieving goals. High performance is often the direct result of a commitment to quality and continuous improvement. Consistent effort and proactive problem-solving are key indicators of a robust work ethic. The cultivation of a positive work ethic enhances productivity and fosters a collaborative work environment. Promotion involves advancement within an organizational hierarchy, typically to a position of greater responsibility. Promotions often result in increased salary, benefits, and decision-making authority. Skills, development, and demonstrated performance are key factors in securing a promotion. Formal education, certifications, and continuous learning can enhance promotion prospects. Networking and building professional relationships are important for career advancement. Promotion can lead to increased job satisfaction and motivation, fostering a more engaged workforce. Management involves overseeing and coordinating activities to achieve organizational goals. Supervisory skills are essential for effectively guiding and supporting team members. Effective management requires a combination of technical, human, and conceptual skills. Planning involves setting objectives and determining the course of action to achieve them. Organizing encompasses structuring resources and activities to ensure efficient execution of plans. Effective leadership involves guiding and inspiring individuals toward a common goal. Strategic leadership requires foresight, planning, and adaptability in dynamic environments. A leader's animus, or inner drive, significantly impacts their ability to motivate and influence others. Successful leaders cultivate trust, foster collaboration, and empower team members. Leadership skills encompass communication, decision-making, and conflict resolution. Vision represents the ability to conceive of and articulate a desired future state. Future planning involves strategically outlining steps to achieve a defined vision. A clear vision provides direction and motivation for strategic initiatives. Effective future planning aligns resources and actions with the overarching vision. Purpose provides a guiding aim that directs actions and decisions toward meaningful goals. Finding purpose involves aligning personal values and passions with activities that contribute to something larger than oneself. A strong sense of purpose enhances motivation, resilience, and overall well-being. Purpose can be discovered through introspection, exploration, and engagement with the world. The pursuit of purpose often involves overcoming challenges and adapting to changing circumstances. Living with purpose fosters a sense of fulfillment and contributes to a more meaningful existence. Fulfillment represents a state of satisfaction and contentment with one's life. Life satisfaction is closely linked to a sense of purpose and meaning. Achieving personal goals and aspirations contributes significantly to fulfillment. Positive relationships and social connections enhance overall life satisfaction. Fulfillment is a dynamic process involving continuous growth and self-discovery. Happiness is a state of emotional well-being characterized by positive emotions. Animus can be understood as inner drive, energy, or a life force that contributes to overall happiness. Emotional well-being encompasses both happiness and a sense of purpose or meaning in life. Cultivating positive relationships and social connections can significantly enhance happiness levels. Practicing mindfulness and gratitude are effective strategies for promoting emotional well-being and happiness. Inner peace represents a state of mental and emotional calmness, free from disturbance. Achieving inner harmony involves balancing conflicting emotions and thoughts. Animus, representing assertive energy, can be harmonized with peace through conscious effort. Cultivating mindfulness and self-awareness are key to attaining inner peace. Meditation practices can facilitate the integration of animus and peace, fostering a sense of wholeness. Inner harmony leads to improved emotional regulation and a greater sense of well-being. Love is a profound emotion characterized by intense affection, care, and connection. Love involves a deep sense of empathy and understanding towards another. Love fosters emotional support, trust, and mutual respect between individuals. Love can manifest as romantic love, familial love, or platonic love, each with unique expressions. Social bonds represent the connections and relationships individuals form with others in their environment. These bonds are crucial for individual well-being and societal cohesion. Strong social connections provide support, reduce stress, and enhance personal growth. Conversely, weak or absent social bonds can lead to isolation, loneliness, and decreased mental health. Social bonds are formed through shared experiences, mutual trust, and reciprocal support. Maintaining and nurturing social bonds requires active participation and consistent effort. Legacy represents the lasting impact of actions and contributions on future generations. Positive legacies inspire progress and create opportunities for those who follow. Building a legacy involves dedication, perseverance, and a commitment to making a difference. A strong legacy fosters a sense of responsibility and encourages continued growth. The cumulative effect of individual legacies shapes the trajectory of society. Legacy is not merely remembrance, but a living force that continues to influence the world.